global regulators publishing guidelines today to better monitor high-frequency trading. However, there's not much evidence to go on that would justify pulling in the reins. Even the regulators themselves say the available evidence fails to find a significant negative effect on liquidity. You know, how many shares are trading. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Katie Pavlich is the editor for townhall.com in D.C. George Jarkissi is the chairman for the National Eagles and Angels Association, and Remy Spencer is an attorney. George, I want to start with you. You know, there's a lot of rumbling, a lot of talk about changing the way this stuff is regulated. What do you make of it?
Well, I think what you've got here is an unknown, and you've got firms around the world that are on the cutting edge and smart, and we don't really understand how this is going to affect the markets. And they are moving faster than the regulators are and even a lot of the industry experts, and they're doing it with very large numbers. So I think this is a situation where, you know me, I'm not I like less regulation. But in this situation, I think to pause and to take a little time to understand what these algorithms and trading systems are going to do is a good thing. All
right, Katie, what do you say?
You know me, Jerry, when I hear the word regulation, I automatically take a step back. You know what? I think these firms probably know what they're doing. Like you said before the break, this might allow for the individual investor to come in and be part of the trading. But also, you know, one of the reasons given was they want to have regulation in order to keep mistakes from happening in the marketplace. And, you know, human mistakes happen all the time. They're going to happen on a computer level, on a human level. So I don't know if regulation is really the way to go with this.
Well, it's really highly debated. A lot of people wondering if this is, you know, a problem for individual investors, keeping them out of the markets because it introduces such volatility. The markets go up, they go down, seemingly for no good reason. What do you think, Remy?
I don't think that any regulation is necessarily a bad thing. I'm not for regulation as a general rule. However, if they can do something to prevent fraud, something to prevent anything that's going to have a negative impact on the individual investor, I think it's something worthwhile looking into. I don't think we should have a negative reaction to it until we see, you know, what these regulations can actually do.
Now, the debate's going to continue, I can tell you that. All right, housing in America has gotten so bad, 2 senators are proposing handing out visas to foreigners if they purchase a home costing $500,000 or more. Katie, what do you say about this?
Here we go with the government getting involved in the housing market again, right? I mean, the reason why the housing market is so bad is partially because of the government getting involved. And this is essentially going to set up people being able to buy their citizenship. You know, visas are temporary. Buying a home is not.
Remy.
I have to respectfully disagree. This is not about citizenship. You don't get a citizenship card by buying a house. I think this is a wonderful thing. It allows people who have money, obviously a lot of money if they can afford $500,000 home, to come to this country and put more money into our economy. This is not going to give people the right to have a job, to have citizenship. It's the right to own the property. It's a limited visa, and it's a good thing.
We already have a lot of this without special perks, right, George?
Yeah, I like this situation. And when you look at America from a demographic standpoint, we're at flat growth. And you've got the baby boomers retiring, going to smaller homes here soon. So when you've got that situation, you're going to have a lot of empty homes as they downsize. And you've got these international new visa buyers to fill those homes. And let's not forget, those guys are going to be consumers. They're going to be buying things in America, buying cars in America, eating out in America, and that all is good for our economy.
Boy, I'd love to see just regular Americans get those, those homes
Exactly.
because they're at low, low prices. You know, this is going to be debated for several weeks now. The Fed's coming out with their own ideas on what to do about the housing market. It'll be front and center. How about this story? A group of 7 solar companies are filing suit against the Chinese solar industry, accusing them of undercutting prices and destroying thousands of American jobs. Now, the controversial filing led by Solar World would drive up the price of solar energy and fuel anti-China sentiments in Washington. Remy, a lawsuit, really? Is that going to help?
I don't think it's going to help anything. I think that we don't need to drive up the cost of anything in this country right now. I don't think this lawsuit, and we don't know enough about this lawsuit yet, but it's going to be interesting to see how the litigation progresses because I don't think it's going to help American economy.
George?
I think the White House and the Democrats needed an scapegoat, and I think that the Chinese have become a scapegoat for this thing. The bottom line is America wasn't competitive at the solar panels even before. If you subsidize businesses with American money, when the subsidy ends, so does the business, and that's what's happened here. It's very clear.
I hear Solyndra in the background. Katie, what do you say?
I say, wow, China's manipulating prices. Who knew? But no, I think we need to put all the solar panel issue aside for a while, get to the bottom of all the scandals before we start filing lawsuits and dealing with that on top of everything else.
Craziness. You know, how we come up with this stuff, I have no idea. Katie, George, and Remy, thanks for helping us out tonight. Really appreciate your time.